Nobody likes me that much.
That's a cool dog. Well, that's marijuana
More
tax
not one.
questions. I might as well just come here and take the initiative rather than force him to do my job for me. So. Probably one of the less controversial tax proposals.
You guys make like those little rubbers.
I know, which I think he has, so I'm kind of trying to like lean it against. Okay. There we go.
But primarily because of,
I
you
didn't
know,
approve any picture that has on it. She's like,
perfection.
I can't offer you that.
A lot less in Illinois.
Yes.
Maybe,
Right.
maybe less than it was 6 months ago.
You know, we don't have a lot going for us, but we know cheaper marijuana in Missouri.
Nope.
My boss is gonna be like, why do I see Channel 5s and not ours? There we go.
Because they'll take the logo.
Yeah, I gotta make sure that logo's showing.
I'm trying to think about it more easy than
No, I don't think. I'll try to block it as much as I can.
Thanks. I did that the first time I came up here with you. I stood there and I was like, just stood there by myself for a while, didn't I?
Good morning. Today, I want to talk about marijuana, specifically where you can and cannot smoke it. Missouri voters in November voted to make legal the sale of recreational marijuana to anyone over the age of 21. And by all measures, it would appear to be a popular move. In February, the first month that recreational marijuana was offered, the sales in Missouri were over $103 million. And as more people partake of marijuana smoking, the county is working to update its Clean Air Code, which was put into place primarily to regulate where people could smoke tobacco. The revised code and language will address smoking marijuana. Proposed changes to the Clean Air Code before the County Council will be processed and discussed, but we're a few weeks away from any sort of final legislation. The council last night, however, did approve changes to zoning on where marijuana could be sold through dispensaries. And language in the zoning laws currently only address medical marijuana. It's important that the Clean Air Code be revised to address smoking marijuana. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, marijuana smoke contains a lot of the same cancer-causing agents that is present in tobacco. And in some cases, there's even higher amounts in marijuana smoke. Secondhand marijuana smoke also contains THC, which is the compound in the plant, which is responsible for the psychoactive effects of marijuana. And this is especially concerning to children and those who are pregnant. Research also reveals that marijuana use during adolescence can lead to problems with neurodevelopment, with memory, motivation, and attention. And that's why our Department of Public Health wants to regulate marijuana smoke and products similarly to how it regulates tobacco. One of the biggest proposed changes in the county's Clean Air Code is prohibiting smoking both tobacco and marijuana in county-run parks where people gather. That means shelters, playgrounds, ball fields, and trails. Currently, you can smoke tobacco in outdoor areas of our county parks. The council is expected to hold a special meeting or hearing to discuss these proposed changes with Clean Air Code. And while it's legal now for adults to smoke marijuana, we must think about those who do not. Many of you also know that the council voted to put a 3% tax on marijuana on the April 4th ballot. And this tax will generate a little bit over $3 million a year. And those new dollars could be used for parks or police or for roads. Currently, over 100 counties or municipalities in Missouri have a marijuana tax question on the ballot in April. And this includes St. Charles County, Kansas City, and in the city of St. Louis. The council also approved an education campaign which will let voters know that this issue is on the ballot and what we might be able to do with the revenue that would be collected. Information about Prop M will be shared on social media, TV, radio, and billboards. We ask everyone to take a look at the information and make an informed decision when you vote in April. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
The original bill asked for $150,000 for the educational campaign. A week later, it was amended to $300,000. Can you describe the process? Councilman Harder said that he, and Chairman Webb met and decided that it would be $300,000 as opposed to $150,000.
So every week, the chair and the vice chair of the council meet with me and we walk through the agenda, talk about the issues on the agenda, and talk about what would likely move forward and what they still have questions about. And during that conversation, the question was raised about the appropriation for this education campaign and whether or not it would be possible to appropriate more funds. And so we discussed that possibility at that meeting. And then when it came up for a vote on the council, someone made the motion to increase it, I don't remember who, and the council voted, and at the council meeting decided to increase it to $300,000.
Was there any conversations with elasticity between the time $150,000 was introduced and the $300,000 was then, it was amended to $300,000?
I didn't have any conversations with elasticity, but there could have been conversations with someone else, I don't know.
With members of your staff, possibly?
Anything is within the realm of possibility in the way of conversations that I wasn't a party to.
Why do you think the educational campaign is necessary?
I think it's important, and we see this a lot with local governments. When a tax question is before the voters, I think it's important to let the voters know what it's about, what the tax is for, and in this case, this is a tax on the purchase of recreational marijuana or marijuana in St. Louis County, and what that tax might be spent for.
You mentioned it's about $3 million that we raise. It's obviously not enough to handle all of the county's financial woes, but how could that money be used to maybe stabilize the budget a little bit?
Well, we have had an ongoing gap between revenues and expenditures in St. Louis County for about 15 years. And that was patched partially with Prop P for public safety in 2016. And that helped us a great deal. But our expenses in St. Louis County continue to go up. Health insurance goes up, wages go up. The cost of asphalt and cement goes up. And at some point, we need new revenue to keep up with the expectations of the great services that St. Louis County provides.
And this tax is on all dispensaries in St. Louis County, not just in unincorporated St. Louis County?
This has been a question, is whether or not the tax is for dispensaries in unincorporated areas or all of St. Louis County. And this question has been addressed by the Missouri Department of Revenue. All counties in Missouri are interested in this. And it's the position of the Missouri Association of Counties, St. Louis County, St. Charles County, and the Missouri Department of Revenue that this tax will be collected in unincorporated areas and in municipalities in counties.
Going back to the announcement about trying to curtail smoking marijuana in parks, would that apply to edibles as well, or just smoking?
No, this restriction is for smoke because of the impact of secondhand smoke. Regulations around edibles would be impacted by cannabis cafes and places where marijuana could be consumed in St. Louis County, and we'll be talking about that as well.
And do you know yet what the consequences would be for smoking marijuana in a public gathering?
Well, we'll have to go back and look at the ordinance. I don't know off the top of my head. Generally, we just ask people to put out their cigarette, and most people will do that when they're reminded that we don't allow that here, and we ask them to stop. And that usually works well for most people in the civilized world.
Question about the informational nature of the campaign. In emails that were exchanged between Elasticity and your staff, it talked about targeting the message. How do you reconcile that with it being impartial when the impartial message is being targeted toward a certain audience?
Yeah, so the question is about targeting and informational campaigns, and I would just have to refer you back to the county counselor's office and Elasticity. I don't know the details of that email or the conversations or the intent. We all are aware that there are limitations on how public funds can be spent on educational campaigns, and we're working very hard to follow those restrictions.
Has the county counselor given you an opinion on this yet?
I don't, opinion on what?
When you refer to the county counselor's office, I was asking for a reconciliation between a targeted message and an
Oh,
impartial
okay.
message.
So your question is about how do we operate an educational campaign? We do the same thing that local governments do across the state and across our region. When there's a question on the ballot and we think that voters need an explanation of what that question is and what the funds will be used for, then we try to help with that, help them understand it. But we are aware of the rules around educational campaigns. We've gotten guidance from our county counselor's office, and we're following that guidance.
So if we contact the county counselor's office, there is an opinion that explains on how this message being targeted to specific listeners to radio stations and television stations and targeting that message, how that is also an impartial message?
So, Joe, I don't think our county counselor's office would necessarily share with you their legal opinions, but I can tell you that we are working very hard to make sure that we follow the rules in everything we do in county government, including the rules on how funds can be spent on an educational campaign.
The county counselor won't give the opinion that's basically the underpinning for the campaign.
You know, I don't think the county counselor's office is going to start distributing their legal opinions to the general public. That's not how we do things. But we're very confident with our position, and as things go in public discourse and debate, people take different sides. People express their opinions, and people have attorneys who advocate for different positions, and then we work those things out.
Do you think that this initiative may be easier to sell to St. Louis County voters because you only pay it if you purchase marijuana?
Yeah, so the question is about the tax and who it impacts, and the tax is on the sale of marijuana in St. Louis County. It's a 3% tax, and if you don't buy marijuana, then you won't pay the tax.
Does the county counselor's office or anyone figure if the way you described it, and not just your county but other counties, that the most expensive places then to buy marijuana, recreational marijuana, would be in incorporated areas of St. Louis County, giving dispensaries in unincorporated county an advantage since they wouldn't have a municipal tax and a county tax. They would just have the county tax. All the municipalities that pass one are also going to have a county tax. Any envisioning of a lawsuit from municipalities saying that you're basically stacking taxes on it?
Well, Joe, there's a lot in that question, and I'll try and unpack it and hit all parts of it, and you can follow up if I miss anything. So the question is about taxes on marijuana sales that would be proposed by municipalities and by counties. So across the state, if you live in a municipality that puts a ballot question forward that asks if voters want to charge or allow a municipality to collect 3% tax on the sale of marijuana, and the county puts the same question on the ballot and both pass, then there would be a 6% sales tax on marijuana in addition to the state tax. And if you live in an unincorporated area where there is no municipality and there's no municipality to charge a 3% tax, then that tax wouldn't be collected, and the only tax that would be available would be the county tax. So in St. Louis County, in unincorporated areas where there are dispensaries, if all the municipalities that have dispensaries are successful in passing their taxes and the county tax passes, then there will be a higher tax on medical marijuana in municipalities that have a tax that's approved, in counties that also have a tax that's approved.
And
Did I,
do you envision a problem that the municipalities might have? I know that you said the Missouri Association of Counties is in favor of this situation. What about the municipalities?
So the question is, I believe your question is that a problem? And I guess it would be a problem in the perspective of people who pay the tax, who believe that they would like to pay less for marijuana. I don't know if that 3% difference will cause them to go down the street. Perhaps. It's like sales taxes vary from municipality to municipality and for various reasons, whether there's TDDs, Transportation Development Districts, Community Improvement District sales tax, or municipal sales tax, or some other tax that's specific to a municipal area. It doesn't seem to affect shopping patterns that much in St. Louis County. People generally tend to shop where they want to shop, where it's convenient for them to shop, where they work or where they live. We don't see a lot of patterns changing because of an awareness of the tax rate in our county.
And one last question. When I was talking to municipalities, or mayors of municipalities, they say they could use this money for pretty much anything. Is it the same principle in the county that it just goes into general revenue?
Yeah, so the question is, what would we use new tax revenue for, specifically a marijuana tax? In St. Louis County, 69% of our general fund budget is for public safety. And, you know, generally this would go to the things that we spend our money on the most. And that's public safety. We spend money on parks, we spend money on roads. And that's what our education campaign will be explaining to folks, that new revenue would be spent on the things that we have, that we spend the most money on, which is police, public safety, and then roads and parks.
Dr. Page, could you clarify, with your earlier remarks, that this would mean recreational marijuana that would be taxed only,
Yeah.
not medical?
Right. This tax is for recreational marijuana. Thank you. Okay, thanks for coming out.